What's good with it, YouTube? It's your boy Rojo, and we are in the Rojo world. This is another part of the little series I'm doing about weird news. This one's a trip, man. You guys are gonna trip on this. This is from the Mercury News. Las Vegas, Nevada. A prosecutor in Las Vegas told a judge Thursday that a man jailed after police found the severed head and body parts of an acquaintance in the truck he was driving has prior felony and federal criminal convictions dating back to the early 1980s in states including California, Texas, and Nevada. Eric Holland stood in court flanked by heavily armed security guards and an attorney temporarily appointed to his case for a brief hearing at which a Las Vegas judge ordered him held without bail, pending another court appearance next week. Justice of the Peace Harmony Letizia set a preliminary hearing of evidence for January 27th. Holland, who was 57, was not asked to enter a plea to the murder charge against him, and his attorney, Deputy Public Defender Sarah Hawkins, declined outside court to comment on his behalf. Prosecutor Giancarlo Pesci listed Holland's three-state criminal history under names including Eric John Holland and Eric Allen Holland, and told the judge that Holland represents a danger to the community and should not be allowed out on bail. Holland's alleged victim was identified Tuesday as Richard P. Miller of Las Vegas. The Clark County coroner said Miller died last Thursday from multiple gunshot wounds and his death was ruled a homicide. The victim is literally cut into pieces, Pesci said in court. His head is no longer part of his body. Holland fled from police in an allegedly stolen truck and then got into another stolen vehicle before he was arrested, the prosecutor said. Police later found receipts in the vehicles for items purchased from a home improvement store where Pesci said Holland was seen on security cameras pushing a cart with a saw in it. This is an individual who literally had the body cut up into pieces in that car and that he flees from the public, he told the judge. And he also has felonies spanning 4 decades as well as his current case pending. Outside the court, Pesci and Holland and Miller knew each other, but he didn't know the extent of their acquaintance. Holland had been sought since May of 2019 on an arrest warrant in a 2018 case in Las Vegas accusing him of embezzlement, identity theft, issuing false checks, and theft, according to court records. He posted $5,000 bail in that case. KLAS TV in Las Vegas reported that the court records showed Holland was accused in 2018 of stealing a truck and then selling it. Holland served time in prison in Nevada for a felony conviction in Las Vegas on theft charges stemming from the forgery case filed in 2000. Prison records say he used names including John Carl Hall, Phil Whidden, Robert Daniel Lauer, and Stephen Talbot. His previous convictions as an adult date to 1987 in California for embezzlement, property theft, and false identification. Pesci says Holland also has a conviction in the federal court in Texas in a counterfeit case. It is said that Holland was found guilty in California in 1997 of assault with a deadly weapon and a resisting arrest causing substantial bodily harm. And records show Holland was also convicted in 1991 in the U.S. District Court of Texas of attempted escape and aiding an escape. His post-prison supervision was transferred to Nevada in 2014. Holland's arrest Thursday came after he drove away from police trying to stop him in an allegedly stolen truck. Police said he then switched to another truck that he had tried to abandon before he was captured. Holland threw various items at officers in an attempt to flee, but he was taken into custody. Officers searched the second trunk, discovered the dismembered human remains in an ice chest, Homicide Lieutenant Ray Spencer told KLAS TV. I mean, you can imagine the horror when you open up an ice chest and you find a human head inside. I always thought, crimes like that were very weird. I'm going to tell you a little story right now. My first time ever going to the county jail was in Fort Bend County Jail in Houston, Texas. It's actually a suburb of Houston. It's in Richmond, Texas. Anyway, at 17 years old in Texas, you go to county jail. You don't go at 18 like in California. So week after I turned 17, I'm in the county jail, and I'm in this one little, like, over there they got dorms and they got like bars as well in the max part of the jail. They threw me into the max part of the jail, right? And one of the dudes that was in my little area was Spencer Corey Goodman. Now, I don't know how many of you are familiar with, classic rock, but there's a group called ZZ Top. Bunch of dudes with long red beards. Pretty popular. If you listen to that kind of music, you know what I'm talking about. Well, this dude, Spencer Corey Goodman, abducted their manager's wife, killed her, had her in the trunk, and like drove all the way to Colorado and did stuff with her in the trunk for a few days, was using the credit cards. It was a real interesting case. And it was weird, man, being in the tank with that dude and watching him on the news every day. And they're talking about his Chargers, and he's just sitting there smiling. He used to have nice looking women come and see him. He was a younger dude, tall white dude. You know what I mean? It's like he had a little fan base, bro. Like every time when visiting would come, visiting was a little different down there. They'd let multiple people come see you at the same time. At this particular time in this particular jail. And that fool had like a weird fan base of people who would come and see him. He stayed with full money on his books. And I'm like, even at 17, I'm like, man, why are people even talking to this weird dude, man? He ended up getting the death penalty and he was executed just a few years later, man. But, those are the weird kind of humans. You look at gang members in a certain way and drug dealers and stuff like that. Not to say any kind of crime or violence is acceptable, but man, you driving around with trunks and doing that kind of stuff, that's just weird to me. But what do you guys think, man? Is that a weird dude, or what, man? There's no way you could justify that. If you feel like you got to take somebody out and there's no other means in your personal opinion, hey, I get that. But driving around with parts and stuff, it's a sick human being. Anyway, it's your boy Rojo, the Rojo Room. Just a little quick weird story for you guys. Have a good rest of your Friday.